All right, following up now from Spidey 1, which was a huge success at the box office. We're moving on now to Spidey 2. And so if you kind of remember, we imported the Spidey file because it had already been broken down into different layers. It was pretty easy to bring that in. We changed the background color so you could see your Spidey, did all that kind of good stuff. We changed the rotational axis on this guy, and so that we had the anchor point down in the middle, or I'm sorry, down in the bottom. So that was all good. All right, and then we turned that layer off. So that was just kind of like a little reminder. This over here, this is your rotation angle, or your rotation tool, I should say. This lets us rotate an object. However, you can also rotate the object by going into the transform keyframe setup down here as well. So now we also, I think, let me go back to the pointer tool. We moved this guy where it needed to be, and then we simply created some more legs. So what I'd like to do now is I would like to create, I'd like to duplicate with Command, you see Command D here. Let's make 8 total legs. So Command D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that should do it. Okay. Now what we'll do is we might as well go ahead and just label these. And so again, that's just right click, rename, and I'm going to call this, let's go left, lower, let's see, left, bottom, BTM, that'd be good. Okay, left bottom, I'm just going to move you, and I'm just going to rotate you. Whoops, sorry, I always do that. I'm going to rotate you like that, and then I think the other thing I want to do at this point is I'm going to go to Layer, Transform, and I'm actually going to, I'm going to flip that vertically. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to transform that so we flip that horizontally, and now we're going to rotate it back down. And the reason for that is because then that kind of like flips the leg, that leg around. Okay, now what I'm going to do next, so that's left bottom. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take, I guess what I'll do, come back. What I'll do is I'm going to call this one left lower rather than left bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to move that one down a little bit. Then I'll go to rotate that and just kind of like get that where it needs to be. And then I'll do this one. I think this will be left middle. I think that's probably good. And first of all, I'll rotate since I'm in rotation right now, and then I'll just go ahead and move that. Okay, so the one thing I might want to do is I think, let's see, yeah, let's just kind of keep going with these. So next one, which is this one, I'm going to move it over, because remember I have all these copies, right? Move it over, and then this should be the last copy, I think. Whoops. Ooh, I'm actually going to need one more. All right, good. All right, so now this one, I'm just going to kind of approximate where these guys would go. So I'm going to take all of these just to kind of show you how you can shortcut things. All of those, and we'll go to Layer, and we'll go to Transform, and let's just flip all of those horizontally together. That cuts out a little bit of work. And let's position these roughly where we want them to be, kind of across from their other major components. And then we're going to go to rotate and just kind of like, it's just get them generally where they need to be. Something like that maybe, and take this one and maybe put something like that. Actually, do that. Take that one up just a little bit more. Okay. This one I think needs to come closer. Actually, they all could actually sort of come closer to the body. So let me do that. Okay. You know, and I can just kind of keep on fooling around with this until I kind of get it exactly like I like it. This one I think needs to go up a bit. Okay. Now this one, what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to do Command D, which is going to duplicate that. I'm going to move it over. I'm going to go to Layer. What do you think I'm going to do now? I'm going to go to Transform. What do you think I'm going to do now? Flip Horizontal. What do you think I'm going to do now? Rotate. Okay. Something like that. Not too bad. All right. So now I've got all of these various things, right? What I probably need to do over here is label these so I know what they are. So this would be leg, let's go right, what do I call that? Right top. I think I mislabeled one of these. This would be right mid. This one would be right, right lower, and this would probably be, that's my top one. Okay, so my labeling is off somewhere here, folks. Sorry about that. Anyhow, that would actually be the top one, right? So anyhow, like I've already messed this up a little bit, but most important thing to keep in mind here is that, you know, you really want to have these be accurate so you know, later on you've got like this whole big bunch of stuff and you want to know what they are. Okay, so now I'm going to be rotating just these little arms back and forth. So with everything closed, I'm going to select all of those legs. Notice I'm not getting mouth, eyes, or body. I'm just getting the legs. How did I do that again? Select, hold down the Shift key, go to the bottom one, select that, and I get all of them together. Hit R, and that brings up just the rotation. Okay? Now, at this point, my first position is set. So I click on one rotation keyframe set, and I basically have it set. Now, if all the rest was that easy, gosh, I would be so happy. But anyhow, so what we can do now is we're just going to take our, let's call that good, and then we're just going to take our little keyframe. One thing I did want to do here, I wanted to change the duration of this particular composition to 5 seconds. Remember, the overall master is 30 seconds, so this is, I just really need about 5 seconds here. And I've got this way spaced out. I don't need that to be so spaced out, so let's take that in a little. So that's 5 seconds, which is fine. All right, so, and I just have my spider a few frames out, right? So one thing that I can do is I can take all of these and I can always extend them as long as they need to be extended, okay? So if I wanted to grab all of these and make sure that they're all the same length, so you know they're like that long, that's fine. I can do that, and that's easy. Now what I want to do is I want to put in my next keyframe. And at this point, what we would do is we would go down and just set the next keyframe for every single one of these, okay? And then I can just kind of go down the line, changing their rotation. So I'm going to go to the rotation and just do a little rotation on each one. I'm kind of trying to match the sides as best as I can, if that's the kind of movement that I want. And, you know, I haven't really looked at a spider moving recently. It's not one of my favorite pastimes, but it's actually really good to take a look at the thing that you're animating to see sort of like what the movement looks like. I'm not doing that right now. Shame, shame on me. But now at this point, going to keep on keeping on. Now you'll notice that I'm not hitting the keyframe. I'm just selecting the object and moving it, and the keyframe is automatically being established by whatever the position is that I'm, or the rotation, the degree of rotation that I'm selecting, if that makes sense. So at this point, I don't need to go in and all the time be putting in keyframes. I just need to make sure that I know where it is I want the keyframe to go, select that location in the timeline, right? And then as I'm moving these, the keyframes get set automatically. Oopsie, sorry guys, that's my fault. Oops. Make sure that we're in rotation. All right. Make sure we're on the right one, and I don't know, let's just do something weird like that. He's just happy, what can I say? All right, so let's take a look at what he or she looks like. Woo! All right, dancing Spidey. All right, so what I think I'd like to do right now is we'll go ahead and see, do we want to do any more? Yeah, it's probably all right. Maybe actually I'm going to do one more keyframe because it kind of seems silly leaving him dancing in the lurch like that. So let's just kind of bring him back to, you know, a little bit of sanity there so that people aren't like, gosh, looks so weird dancing. All right. Whoopsie. And finally, this kind of puts him, he or she, back to, I guess, where he was. Now,